Hi, my name is Anjali Hidari, and today I'm going to be talking about technology in leadership. So, this is a new era of leadership. Leadership today looks totally different than it did even 10 years ago, and that's mostly because of technology. The first big change I want to talk about is transformation. Leaders aren't just managing face to face anymore. Now they're using tools like Zoom, project trackers, and dashboards to lead in more flexible and efficient ways. Then there's connectivity. With tech, leaders can work with teams all over the world. Communication is instant and the collaboration can happen anytime, anywhere. And finally, innovation. Good leaders are always looking for ways to grow, and tech helps with that. Whether it's using AI to make decisions or tracking real-time data, gives leaders a real edge. Overall, tech is changing the way people lead, and those who learn to use it well are way more prepared for the future. So this is the evolution of leadership. Leadership has obviously changed a lot over the years, and this timeline really shows some of the major turning points. In the 1980s, leadership was very traditional. Everything happened in person still, and leaders mostly used phones or meetings to communicate. But by the 2000s, things really started to shift. The internet and email made it way easier to stay connected, and leaders could share updates faster and work with people in different places. And then the 2010s were huge for collaboration with tools like Google Drive, Zoom, and Teams, which became more common, and leaders started managing remote teams more efficiently. And then after 2020, everything basically went virtual. COVID really pushed leaders to rely fully on tech, managing teams, sharing data, and keeping people engaged without being in the same room. Hybrid work became a really popular thing, and that's basically how it is today. And these shifts show how technology has completely changed the way leaders currently operate. So we have about six major key technologies that are essential tools being used by leaders today, both for day-to-day operations and for big picture strategy. First, communication platforms like Zoom and Teams are a must. They allow leaders to connect with teams instantly and whether in the same office or across the globe. Next is data and business intelligence tools. Tools like Power BI and Salesforce have given leaders real-time insights into performance, customer trends, and operations, helping them make smarter decisions. And then AI and machine learning are being used way more for things like talent analysis, workload forecasting, and even automating repetitive tasks. These tools are helping leaders work faster and more efficiently. Then we have our cloud-based collaboration, which allow access to important documents, presentations, and shared platforms from anywhere. This flexibility is key in a remote or hybrid environment, which it seems the workforce is working more towards. Leaders also are using project and task management tools like Asana or Monday.com to keep teams organized and on schedule. I know at my internship this summer, we've used Monday.com and Trello, and those are really key in keeping everything aligned and everything clear. So they definitely are supporting accountability and clear delegation. And then finally, we have great performance management software systems that help leaders track employee progress, provide feedback, align team goals with company strategy. These platforms are really improving transparency and communication across organizations. Altogether, these tools make leadership more informed, agile, and connected in today's fast-paced work environment. So let's talk about what tech actually does for leaders and its benefits. First, we have productivity. Technology has been helping leaders get things done way faster. Just cutting down on emails or automating tasks or just trying to keep everything organized really frees up time for the more important stuff. And with team empowerment, when people have tools that help them see their goals and get good feedback, um, they feel way more involved. It's also just nice to stay in the loop, and technology helps with that. It builds trust and makes leadership feel more like a partnership. And then with adaptability and growth, things tend to move really fast now, and leaders are having to keep up. Technology has made it a lot easier to pivot when needed and to scale up when things grow, and just stay on top of what's going on in general, all in real time. So, yeah, the tools are powerful, but it's really about how they help leaders show up better for their teams. So, what are some challenges in tech-driven leadership? While technology does bring a lot of value to leadership, as we just talked about, it also comes with some real challenges that leaders definitely need to be aware of. One of those is over-reliance. When leaders start to depend too much on automation or AI, they really start to lose that personal judgment or creativity, and that's still really important today. Not everything can be measured by data, and that's something that we have to definitely keep in mind. And then there's privacy. Um, a lot of tools help track employee activity, which can be really helpful, but it also kind of feels a little invasive. And if it's not handled properly, then it can really start to hurt the trust between leadership and the team. Another concern is bias. AI systems that are used in hiring are supposed to be neutral, but they can actually reinforce existing biases depending on how they were trained. Leaders really have to make sure they're questioning the data behind the tools that they're using. Lastly is just tech literacy. Not every leader and not every employee knows how to use all of these platforms really well. And if we don't make sure that people are trained properly, the technology can actually slow down the process and the progress instead of helping. So these challenges don't mean that leaders should avoid technology in all, but they just need to be thoughtful and intentional about how they're using it. So here I did a case study on Satya Nadella, which is he is a prominent leader at Microsoft. So he's a great example of a modern tech forward leader. When he took over Microsoft, the company was still stuck in its old ways, and he really shifted the focus to cloud services and collaboration instead of competition. He also transformed the company culture completely by really pushing a growth mindset. He encouraged learning, inclusion, and empathy. Um, Under his leadership, Microsoft rolled out tools like Teams and grew Azure massively. And beyond just making money, he really built a healthier and more future focused organization. So he's a great example of technology in leadership. And then here we have Tim Cook's leadership at Apple, which is a little different kind of tech success story. He followed Steve Jobs, which is not an easy role, but he led with a calm and strategic style. He focused on refining Apple's supply chain, leaning into user privacy, and building out Apple's ecosystem with systems like Apple Pay and iCloud. And he also made bold moves like launching their own chip, the M1. And under his leadership, Apple became the first company to hit a 3 trillion valuation. It really just shows that quiet, value-driven leadership paired with smart tech decisions can have a massive impact. So what does the future of technology in leadership look like? Well, it's really based on how well leaders can use and adapt to emerging technology. Tools like ChatGPT are already helping leaders write reports, plan meetings, and improve communication faster and more clearly. There's also new things like immersive tech, Spatial is changing how leaders have been hosting trainings and connecting with remote teams, bringing people together in virtual spaces that feel real. With mobile tools like Tableau, leaders don't have to wait for reports. They can monitor progress and KPIs in real time from their phones. And also, platforms like Notion AI are streamlining how leaders manage projects, organize teams, and make daily decisions. These tools aren't just being helpful, they're becoming essential, and the leaders who embrace them will have a serious edge in the years ahead. So, to wrap everything up, we have our key takeaways. The first is technology is now core to effective leadership. The tools we've talked about help leaders communicate better, make smarter decisions, and lead from anywhere. Um, but they aren't a replacement for things like empathy or trust. Those human qualities still matter just as much, if not more now. And then leaders who stand out going forward are the ones who can balance both, using technology to enhance their leadership and ultimately not replace it. So that is all for technology and leadership.